Yo, yo, yo. It is Saturday. We are in round 6 of the NFL draft currently, but majority of the fantasy and dynasty relevant players have already been selected. So there'll probably be some sleepers and whatnot picked here in round 6 and 7, undrafted free agents, of course. But I know you guys wanted to hear my opinions and reactions to some of these landing spots in the draft capital that these players have had. So no editing, no film, getting straight to the fucking point, and let's talk about the most relevant dynasty fantasy assets and some potential sleepers and some really good landing spots later on in the draft. And I mean, we don't have to spend a lot of time, but Joe Burrow went 101. We knew that Superflex formats, 101 in Superflex, maybe not. I think, I talked about it before that it's not a crazy idea to have Jonathan Taylor 101 in a Superflex format. And I still, after the draft capital and landing spots, I don't think that has changed. I think it is even more so increased. But when you're looking at the Bengals overall, they did add a talented wide receiver in T. Higgins at the top of the second. Seems like he's the clear replacement for AJ Green. So you've got weapons, Joe Mixon, you've got T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, John Ross. I mean, it's a good spot for Joe Burrow to be in. So wheels up for Burrow, and he's got the mindset, and he's coming from a winning program at LSU. So great job by the Bengals. But talking about some of the other guys, Tua went 5 to Miami. And I think they did a really good job building around him. So those of you who were considering taking him early in Superflex formats, go ahead and smash that. I like what they've done. Veteran kind of fallout. Devontae Parker should be locked into, let's just say at worst, the top 15 season at wide receiver. Whether it's Fitzpatrick or Tua, it'd be nice for Tua to kind of chill this season. Redshirt didn't come in next year, but I really think he's going to play. He's going to play in 2020, barring this season. The Jets. I think the Jets did a hell of a job protecting Sam Darnold with Mekhi Becton early, adding Denzel Mims. He's going to be the number one again sooner rather than later. Rashad Perryman, Jamison Crowder, Le'Veon Bell. I know they picked up LaMichael Pirine, I believe, a little bit later. But, for the Jets offense, be critical of Adam Gase all you want. But they did a fantastic job in this draft, and I love protecting your franchise quarterback and then adding a legitimate number one potential wide receiver in Denzel Mims. Mims for me is locked in back into the first round, early second round in single quarterback leagues. That's about where I value him. So good stuff for Mims. Raiders, my Las Vegas Raiders, of course. We took Henry Ruggs, but on day one, I was really kind of like, man, they passed up Jeudy. But what they did later on, grabbing Lynn Bowden, grabbing Bryan Edwards in the third, and I'm telling you right now, mark my word, Bryan Edwards is the number one, will be the number one for the Las Vegas Raiders. 2021, I'm expecting it. I don't think it's going to happen this year, but what Henry Ruggs does for the Raiders, man, he opens up everything. You got Henry Ruggs stretching the field, Bryan Edwards, your big possession receiver, Hunter Renfrow, slot, Darren Waller, that do-it-all tight end, Josh Jacobs out of the backfield. Man, Raiders did a hell of a job tooling up that offense. They also took a guard at some point, so great job by the Raiders. Looking at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I know they just picked up Tyler Johnson a little while ago. They grabbed Keyshawn Vaughn, my RB6 pre-draft, RB7 pre-draft. I think I'm going to bump him up to RB6. I think he's right there at RB6. Him and Rojo, we'll see how that battle plays out. But what Keyshawn Vaughn can do is catch the ball in the backfield. Pretty good in pass pro. He's a pro's pro. And I've said that about Vaughn all the time. Like, he's an older prospect, but year one, if he can earn a starting role, he's going to be very useful for fantasy. I'm looking at like a Marlon Mack type running back, right? RB2 with RB1 upside any given week. He can catch the ball, and Tom Brady likes to check down to the running backs, and we know Ronald Jones isn't the best in that category, even though he improved on that skill set this past NFL season. But really like that landing spot for Vaughn. My Dallas Cowboys, baby, CD Lamb. And let's spend some time talking about CeeDee Lamb, because I know there are a lot of people nervous or afraid about that landing spot. Elite players in elite offenses, do not be concerned. Mike McCarthy at one point in time had Jordy Nelson, Devontae Parker, Devontae Adams, Randall Cobb. They're going to be just fine. And CeeDee Lamb is better than Michael Gallup. I know he had 1,100 yards last year. He's better than Michael Gallup. Even if he's not the number 2 this year, he's going to be that sooner rather than later. And the Dallas Cowboys can get out of Amari Cooper's contract in 2 years. So I think it's a perfect spot. Dak Prescott locked and loaded QB3 in Dynasty, maybe even QB4, depending on how you feel about QB2, depending on how you feel about Lamar and his longevity being a true dual threat quarterback who runs the ball a lot and sustains a lot of punishment. But this is wheels up for that offense, and you spread and shred, right? Everybody is emulating what the Chiefs did, what the Rams did a couple of years ago. And with those 3 wide receivers, the athletic tight end in Blake Jarwin, with Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard, this offense is fun. I am not concerned about Lamb. Did move him down one spot. I did move him down, but it's only because my wide receiver 2 landed in the most rock star situation that I believe possible, and that's Jalen Reagor. Jalen Reagor, told you guys, don't be worried about it. I told you. Rager's going to be good. The Philadelphia fan base is ludicrous for criticizing that pick. This guy plays much bigger than his 5'11" frame. He is a dynamic player. He is going to be a monster on the punt return unit. He's going to be a monster in the screen game, downfield vertical threat. He will learn. He will develop a full route tree. And as a Cowboys fan, I'm not excited that we have to deal with Jalen Reagor twice a year and potentially even more in the playoffs. So I thought that was a home run spot for Jalen Reagor. Justin Jefferson with the Vikings, good landing spot for him. Kirk Cousins replaces Stephon Diggs with Justin Jefferson. Both Reagor, Lamb, Jefferson locked and loaded first round of the rookie draft. Keyshawn Vaughn might be a player who sneaks into the back end, right? When you're looking for that running back, he might be a back end first round pick in rookie drafts, but probably early second. Jordan Love, Packers, what are you doing? Horrible draft. Brandon Aiyuk, I think he serves a good role in that 49ers offense. Marquise Goodwin is gone now. I think Debo's still the one. Very big winner from this. Matt Breida gets traded, so Raheem Mostert shares up. Jerick McKinnon, a sneaky buy still right now. The Seahawks drafted DJ Dallas a little bit later. I thought that was a good pick. I don't know how good he's going to be this year, but maybe 2021. They get rid of Chris Carson, and it's DJ Dallas and Rashad Penny, or they draft another back. But I thought that was a good pick by the Seahawks. Great value there. What else? What else was interesting that I want to react to? Oh, yeah, there was one pick, 32, CEH. And those of you on YouTube who have not been following the podcast, Destination Devy Podcast, go check it out, subscribe. I've been telling you all about Clyde Edwards-Helaire probably since October of 2019, and he was the first running back taken, and he lands in the most dynamite spot that a running back can land in with the Kansas City Chiefs. My RB1, Clyde Edwards-Helaire in PPR formats. Half-point PPR and standard scoring formats, I still think you go with Jonathan Taylor. But the fear is that Jonathan Taylor is a two-down back. And I've said this repeatedly. There's a difference between a running back who can catch the ball and a running back who can be deployed as a pass-catching weapon. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is a weapon. You can deploy him in the same fashion, in a similar role that Christian McCaffrey, that Alvin Kamara are deployed in. Jonathan Taylor can catch the ball, so can Derrick Henry, right? But you're not seeing Derrick Henry split out wide, running routes, running option routes. My fear is that Taylor is more of a two-down back opposed to a TDT, a three-down threat. And, behind that, it's one of the best offensive lines in football, and it may be the best with Travis Frederick retiring from the Cowboys. Running lanes are going to be open. Now, they've got to find their quarterback, right? They did draft Jacob Eason a little bit later. Phillip Rivers, we know that his skill set is diminishing. They did add Michael Pittman. I love that pick out wide with T.Y. Hilton. But it's hard for me to say, because we've been saying it. We've been saying from day one, whatever running back lands on the Kansas City Chiefs, that is RB1. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, outside of Swift landing there, I don't even think JT in Kansas City is as attractive as what Clyde Edwards-Helaire is. You're looking at a floor of, let's go low end, 70 receptions a season, floor. I think it's a very real possibility in year one, CEH is pushing 100 receptions out of the backfield. And A reception is worth more than a rush in PPR formats. So for me, he has elevated himself to the RB1 spot in the same conversation that we had about JT being the one-on-one in Superflex formats. We're going to see Edwards-Helaire go one-on-one. We're going to see it in Superflex, and I wouldn't knock anybody for doing that. I just think his skill set and his talent. He is a horrendous pass blocker. I still stand by that, and he's going to be forced into that role. Luckily for him, he's playing with the quarterback who is mobile, who can move, so at least there's some escapability there for Patrick Mahomes, but it's wheels up for that offense. And when you really think about Kansas City, right, the only possession receiver that they really have is Travis Kelce. Tyreek Hill is not a high-volume player. He's an explosive, big-play threat that can take anything to the house at any given time, but he's not out there catching 13 passes a game like Michael Thomas. So outside of Kelce, CEH might be the second leading receiver reception-wise on the Kansas City Chiefs team in 2020, and they are going to throw the ball a ton. Michael Pittman, we talked about him to the Colts. Fantastic landing spot. My wide receiver, did I have him 6 or 7 pre-draft? 7. Denzel Mims 6. I had Michael Pittman 7. Feel really good about that. DeAndre Swift lands with the Detroit Lions. I don't love it, and I'm struggling because he was my RB2 before, but he's going to move down. He's moving past Clyde. He's moving down past, Jonathan Taylor. So now I'm talking about 3. I love J.K. Dobbins' landing spot with the Baltimore Ravens. Maybe not for 2020, but in 2021, he's going to take over from Mark Ingram. He's going to be the lead back there. And with Lamar Jackson, with that offensive line, with the commitment to the run, you're looking at a top 10 running back potentially in J.K. Dobbins in a year. So if you're willing to wait a year, I think that's a home run pick. Matt Patricia and the Lions, I just don't know what to make of that situation. I don't know. I love the talent, and I don't want to make the same mistake that I made with A.J. Brown passing on the talent because of the landing spot. I just don't, they're still Kerryon Johnson. I don't know. I'm struggling with Swift being RB3 and then RB5, and I don't know where I'm going to land on that, but it's probably going to be RB5. What else? Laviska Shenault to Jacksonville. Sure, it doesn't move me. KJ Hamler to Denver. Denver took Jeudy. They took Albert O. They took, you know what I'm saying? They took, they're KJ Hamler, wide receivers. I guess they're trying to emulate the Chiefs. If we can't beat them, fuck them, let's join them. I think it hurts Noah Fant. I don't think it bothers. I don't think it hurts Courtland Sutton. I think Courtland Sutton's role is safe, but there is a lot of target competition in Denver now, and I don't even know how much of a high-volume offense they're going to have. You still got Phillip Lindsay, Royce Freeman, and Melvin Gordon, unless I've missed a trade here in the last couple of minutes. Cam Akers with the Rams. Sorry, Darrell Henderson truthers, Malcolm Brown truthers. Cam Akers is going to rise to the top of that offense, and we joked about it. He goes from a shit line in college to a shit line in the pros, so he should have an easy, smooth transition. The Philadelphia Eagles, Jalen Hurts. What does that say about Wentz and the belief that they have in Jalen Hurts in spending a mid-second round pick, or I guess it's close to the end of the second, but still a second round pick on a quarterback, it's not worthless. They invested in a QB, and at first I thought, okay, develop and trade, but they want to use them like Taysom Hill, Carson Wentz. His inability to stay healthy. I know he was healthy all of 2019, but, not the best spot. Superflex, he's still a second-round pick. Not the best spot, but it's all right. Claypool to Pittsburgh, skipped over that. I really hope that they convert him to tight end. Van Jefferson was a surprise in the second to the Rams. I guess that kills Josh Reynolds. We'll see how Reynolds can. I've got some Reynolds shares. That kind of hurts him. Mims to the Jets, great job. And, it also helps out Brashad Perryman on the other side. Let him be that field stretcher. I think he's still a good option. Maybe a low-end wide receiver 3 can give you some wide receiver 2 upside weeks. Best ball, definitely somebody I'm interested in. A.J. Dillon to the Packers. Aaron Jones, truth or sorry. It was like the death of the running back, right? Running back just getting knocked off the face of the earth in this draft. The Redskins, Antonio Gibson, who they announced as a running back. So now you got AP, Darius Guice, Bryce Love, Antonio Gibson. I don't know. I'm not buying any guy shares. I'm not really feeling that. Talked about Bowden and Bryan Edwards back-to-back pick for the Raiders. Bryan Edwards will be the wide receiver 1 for the Raiders here shortly. Zach Moss to the Buffalo Bills. Had him outside of my top 10 running backs. He will move up to RB7. I think that's a good spot for him. Buffalo is a low pass volume offense. Devin Singletary, I don't know if he's like the feature, can do everything by himself. They lost Frank Gore or whatever. Frank Gore's not there, thankfully, and it's cold. They want to run the ball. You got to grind the ball out up there. So I think Zach Moss makes a lot of sense for the Buffalo Bills. Darrynton Evans behind Derrick Henry, my RB9 pre-draft. He'll probably fall in around RB9. I think he's a better version of Dion Lewis back there. And in pinch spots, I think he can give you RB1 upside weeks if the king himself ever goes down. What it showed me is a commitment to Derrick Henry. So if you have Derrick Henry, I don't know what they're going to do after the season. I don't want to predict that, but it seems like they may give him a deal to extend him out because I don't know if Evans is the guy long term. Love Adam Troutman, the tight end to the Saints, getting Drew Brees another weapon. He has a chance to contribute right away. Dalton Keene, tight end for the Patriots. Don't sleep on Dalton Keene, athletic guy out of VTech. Take a shot on him in the waiver wires after your rookie drafts. Josh Kelly of the Chargers, maybe push Justin Jackson, a little bit of competition there. Cleveland took another tight end. What else do we have that's worth? Jacob Eason of the Colts. I think that's a great landing spot, and he's my QB5, excuse me. It's Tua, it's Burrow, it's Hurts, it's Herbert, and Jacob Eason solidified himself behind a good offensive line, good front office philosophy and how they run their program. You got a stud running back in Jonathan Taylor. You drafted Michael Pittman. Screaming value. You might be able to get Jacob Eason in the 3rd round of Superflex drafts. Love that pick by the Colts. McFarland to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think he's the RB2 there. RB2, and an RB2 in Pittsburgh with James Conner's inability to stay healthy is a valuable asset. I just took him at 208 in a single quarterback mock draft, and some people were surprised, but Pittsburgh is a good spot. They have a good run blocking offensive line. They've got weapons outside. Big Ben is coming back, so I think that was a good spot. Any running back that landed in Pittsburgh, I was going to be interested in. Gabe Davis to Buffalo, deep threat. I don't know about fantasy-wise. We talked about DJ Dallas. Oh, man. Who else? Jake Fromm to Buffalo. The anti-Josh Allen, right? What else do we have? Tyler Johnson to Tampa Bay. Finally got picked in the 5th. I don't know. Godwin, Evans, Howard, Gronk. It's a lot of bodies in the wide receiver room. Philly added more speed with John Hightower out of Boise. Better NFL fit than fantasy fit. Oh, was there anybody in the 6th while I'm recording this that is even worth talking about? Donovan Peoples-Jones to the Browns. I don't know. Punt returner maybe. Maybe Jarvis doesn't want to do that. Cephas to the Lions. Quintez Cephas out of Wisconsin. Colin Johnson to the Jags. Doesn't move me at all. So overall, I think this was one of as fantasy gamers, we could not have asked for better landing spots for these running backs and a lot of these receivers. I mean, I can't think of a fit that is just disgusting, that just throws me completely off. Like, if I'm being honest, I guess DeAndre Swift's was the worst because of Detroit, and we don't know if Stafford is there for the long term. We don't know if Patricia's there for the long term. They have Kerryon Johnson. But I mean, from T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, Cole Kmet went to the Chicago Bears as the tight end there. I don't think there were any just Jalen Hurts to Philly, but we never expected Jalen Hurts to be a year 1 starter. Veteran fallout from this. I think Gardner Minshew is safe. He is safe. He will be the quarterback in 2020 for the Jags. And if he performs well, we could probably see him getting an extension. Brashad Perryman getting a true number 1 next to him. I think that was a good spot for Perryman. Allen Lazard. People have been laughing at me, but Green Bay has avoided the wide receiver position. So either they have more faith in Lazard than we do, and we need to catch up, or they're completely inept. And both of those things are very much in the realm of possibility. Chris Carson is safe. James Conner is safe. There are a lot of veteran players that you can go out and acquire because of this. If there are people out there nervous about Noah Fant, go send some offers for Noah Fant. Again, J.K. Dobbins to Baltimore. If you can wait a year, I think you're getting the value. If there are people afraid of CeeDee Lamb being in Dallas, go buy CeeDee Lamb. For me, if I had to say my top 5 rookies out of all of this, and I'm doing this off of the fly, single quarterback leagues, I'm going to go Edwards-Helaire, Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Reagor. Who would be 4 and 5? I really like T. Higgins. Gosh, and T. Higgins might be 5th, and I kind of like J.K. Dobbins, man. I really like the Dobbins spot. I really like that spot for J.K. in Baltimore. So just instant, rapid reaction. We'll dive deeper into these picks. We'll dive deeper into these situations. But right now, that's what we got. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this 2020 NFL Draft. I hope that I was able to provide some insight from the collegiate season all the way through this pre-draft process. And I know this is Destination Debbie, and I promise you we're going to get to the 2021 class very, 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 very soon. But I enjoyed this process. Hold me accountable. My rankings are out there. I'll re-update it. We'll talk about it. But I just wanted to give you guys some insight of what I thought happened so far in the draft. So, hey, those of us who are having drafts tomorrow and Monday, have fun with it. If you guys have any questions, you know where to hit me up. Please subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends about it. And subscribe to the DDP, the Destination Debbie podcast as well. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'll check you next time. Peace.